Hey, how's it going? So, money is a very sensitive and heavy subject for some people. And when it comes to dating and having that money conversation can be a very awkward one. So, in this video, I wanted to give you some tips on how and when to have this conversation about money with your guy. Hey, it's Lylian here, and I am a dating and relationship coach, and I help alpha women succeed in love. So if you're an alpha female seeking love, you are in the right place. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's jump in. Having the money conversation, the money talk, it's very important when you're dating, but you also have to be aware, it's something that it just comes natural. So you don't have to rush into having this deep sit down conversation with the other person as to where are they with their money and so on. It will just come naturally as you date. But it is a very important conversation to have, and it's not going to be just one conversation that you will have. You will have many conversations about money as your relationship progresses. So on that note, the first tip that I want to give you is that when you start bringing up money or having a sort of like a money conversation, make it in a very general sense. So get a sense, a feel for where the both of you are and what relationship you have with money. So one thing that you could do if you're curious as to where he's at is you could start by saying, oh, I just bought a few books from Amazon, and I realized how much I love to spend my money on books. Where do you like to spend your money on? Another one that I love is, if you had $1 million, how would you spend it? Right? And that's a playful way for the two of you to discuss money in a very general sense without trying to pull any information out of the other person. But it gives you an idea of how he sees money and what he will do with that money, what he does with his money, right? So that is the first tip, is just keep things general. Okay, so tip number 2, and this should be completely obvious to you, but I just want to say this to make sure that you don't do this. So it's, don't talk about money on your first date. There will obviously, you'll get there, but the first date is not the time to talk about money, because money, like I said, is a very sensitive and heavy subject, and it's just gonna create this awkward conversation between the two of you, especially if you're talking about income or debt or your any type of financial situation that you're dealing with. Keep it to yourself and don't ask obviously anything about him. And if he does bring up the money conversation in any way, that may also be a red flag for you. So if he's trying to show off how much money he has, or he is telling you that he's like, he lost his job, or he's giving you some sad story about how he's not financially stable, that's obviously a red flag, right? So those two are obviously not something that you're looking for. So if anybody brings up the topic of money, it's normally a red flag, and you should be very wary of that. Okay, so tip number 3, and you shouldn't bring up obviously money conversation in the very beginning, but don't leave it to the last minute when you guys are about to get married. Okay, so have the money conversation maybe about 5 to 6 months once you and I mean by having that sit down, maybe more serious conversation of money, maybe 5 to 6 months into the relationship, when you start seeing things that are becoming more serious. And that's what we did with Mark. We started talking about money in a more serious way once we got to 5-6 months, because we saw a potential future for the two of us. So make sure that you have that conversation during that time frame, because then it gives you an idea of where you both stand with your money, and you don't want to be surprised at the very end once you guys are married or something and you realize that your sweetheart has a lot of debt. Okay, so number 4. So the 2 main topics that you definitely want to discuss with him when you do have that more sit down conversation with him is both your income and your debt. So Your income is important because you want to know what kind of lifestyle you're both going to have together. And that could be a deal breaker for two of you, or that could be a deal breaker for you, or the amount of debt that he has or the amount of debt that you have. So be completely honest and transparent when it comes to that discussion, and obviously on every discussion, but this one specifically, because you don't want any surprises and you don't want to be surprising him in any negative way, right? So the best way to have obviously a wonderful relationship is to be completely honest and transparent, and ask him to do the same with you, because you don't want to end up in a relationship where, you know, there are skeletons in the closet. So make sure that you are completely honest, you're completely, you know, transparent, and all the debt that you have, all those credit cards, all the student debt, make sure that you're honest with all that. But obviously that could be something that you can discuss once you guys do become more serious, and you know that there is definitely a future, and this could be a deal breaker. So make sure that you are, and I'm gonna say it one more time, you're completely honest and transparent. Even if this is a debt that you've been carrying it for 20 years or whatever, you still want to be honest with that. You don't want this to come up later on in your relationship. I'm sure you don't want to see that with your future husband, in a sense, later on. So number 5. So this tip is for you if you are now very serious in your relationship and you're about to move in. The best thing that you can do is discuss how you guys are going to split the expenses, the household expenses, because moving in with someone means, you know, you're combining a lot of things, right? And that means also you're combining bills. So you need to discuss this beforehand. No surprises at all. And that will save you so much headaches. So who pays what, how much, everybody's different, every couple is different. Some people like to do, you know, 50-50, they split everything in half. Some people like to go by the income that each one provides, so there's a percentage because one makes a little bit more than the other. Or some people do like different percentages on different things. So it is really up to the two of you to talk about this, and this is just a conversation that you both can, you know, should have, definitely have, before you move in together, because it will save you so much headaches down the road, and that time together, the move and everything is going to be so much more. You have less headaches, less commotion. You are going to enjoy that time. It's going to be very exciting and amazing if you do it right. Okay, so money is definitely a tricky subject to discuss with your guy, but it's one that you definitely need to have with him. I encourage you to talk to the person that you're dating, the guy that you're dating, early on in the relationship about money. And it doesn't have to be, like I said, a serious sit-down conversation. It can just be a question here, question there, as, you know, what are your plans? What are you thinking about? What would you like in the future, right? Getting a sense of who this man is and where he is financially will give you a bigger picture of how you fit into his life, and if you even want to be part of that lifestyle. So I encourage you to talk about money, to understand your own finances and understand where he's coming from, and combine those two things and make this like money situation or the money talk that much more fun. Because when you both understand your finances and you're in a good place, it really does make that money conversation so much more fun, because down the road you guys are going to start thinking about investments and about savings, and like maybe start saving for, you know, your future travels. And so that makes it even more exciting when the two of you are on the same page. Okay, so if you like this video, please like it below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It really does help my channel, so please do that. And if you have any other single alpha women that you know are seeking love, make sure that you share these videos with her, and that you also let them know about me. It really does help me. So thank you so much. Until the next one. Bye.